In response to the emergence of COVID-19, and the settlement sector, as we all know, was rapidly adjusted to start delivering most of the in-person services to remote or hybrid service delivery approach, where 97% of settlement service providers provided hybrid services versus 58% pre-pandemic. 93% of Francophone settlement services started provided hybrid services during the pandemic versus 65% pre-pandemic. During the pandemic period also, the findings of various research projects identified three major needs: the need to address digital divide among newcomers, the need to improve service provider digital capacity, and the need to create a network of knowledge mobilization. And in order to address these needs, the IRCC, and under the SDI initiative, the Service Delivery Improvement Initiative, has proposed, and the YMCA WCA of the National Capital has proposed to deliver the WESO, the Wired Evaluating Online Settlement Program. And the aim is to help newcomer clients better integrate the Canadian society by understanding newcomer clients' digital needs and challenges, as well as SPO's challenges, and identifying the best practices in delivering hybrid services. Next slide, please. So the program, like, main deliverables are, we will work on providing a deeper understanding of what types of the 6 settlement service categories are better delivered online. And the 6 settlement service categories are need assessment and referrals, information and orientation, language assessment, language training, employment-related services, and community connection. So we need we will provide like a deeper understanding of what types of services are better delivered online, and what form and for what type of clients. We will also work with a group of newcomers who use only in-person services, who are not comfortable using online services, to understand their experience and barriers in accessing online services, and help them transition to online services by removing these barriers as much as possible within the scope of this project. Next slide, please. And then we will create resources and toolkit that can help the SPOs, the service provider organization across Canada, to evaluate the effectiveness of their services and adapt their models accordingly to improve the services. We will here pilot our evaluation framework first with a small group of SPOs. We will pilot it on 30 SPO staff first, before we roll out our evaluation framework to other SPOs all across Canada, to 450 SPO staff, guiding them to use the framework to measure the impact of their hybrid services. And now I will hand to Parissa to tell us more about the goals of the WESO program.
Thank you, Farah. Among the goals of the WESO program is to help the newcomer clients better integrate into the community in the current digital environment, to increase their option in choosing their ways to access services, whether they want in-person service delivery or they would choose online or remote services, to understand the newcomer clients' experiences with the remote services, and to understand their barriers in accessing digital services, and to be able to improve their access based on their experience with these type of services, to increase the capacity and knowledge of the service provider organizations on how to evaluate, and also to improve the effectiveness of the services that they provide, whether online or the entire hybrid services as a package, to address the digital divide among the newcomer clients, as not all of the newcomer clients, unfortunately, have equal access to services, and to empower the newcomer clients to use and to improve their digital skills in various contexts. Marco will later elaborate on the digital literacy and fluency issues related to the newcomer clients. And finally, to help the service provider organizations use proper and valuable digital tools for the integration of the clients. So basically touching on all the details that Marco kindly provided in this communication with the back and forth we had with our consultants and going through the literature, the definition that we have been relying on for the hybrid service delivery offers a combination of in-person and online or remote services for newcomers to Canada. The rationale is basically twofold. Firstly, because the definition should, or the hybrid service delivery should facilitate access to different categories of settlement services, different departments, different organizations for the newcomers, and also hybrid service delivery should function as a tool, as a strategy that can guide the settlement practitioners to determine how technology can be used effectively in service delivery, while at the same time ensuring that there is room and there is support for providing in-person support and in-person services. So as you can see, there are two major categories. There are online, and also with the two synchronous, asynchronous, and there are in-person with offline via phone as well as face-to-face category. I'll start with the very first one, the online synchronous. So both branches of the online services are all of the services, completion of which relies on internet access. So at no matter whether the clients are completing the service with an agent online with them or without an agent present at the time of completing the service or providing or receiving the service, internet is absolutely essential. Synchronous services are those that are completed through a simultaneous human-human interaction, or as we would call it, the synchronous version, which is like conversation via an online chat, for example, let's say with a permanent resident case officer in order to receive service or to get questions answered. The asynchronous, on the other hand, there are services that do require internet access, but do not necessarily need an agent at the same time to be present, which means services that can be completed via a technology human type of interactions. For example, if a client goes online and applies for the social insurance number or to receive OHIP. Next to the online services, we have in the definition the in-person services. The first category is the offline via phone, which means without the internet access, a service interaction that completely takes place over the phone, with especially for clients that are not necessarily digitally literate, or regardless of their digital literacy and fluency, they are not willing to use technology in order to receive online services. For these people making audio phone calls to be provided with information or with services, they can complete it via the in-person offline service category. The in-person face-to-face is the traditional version of receiving services, where the client would have to be present in the physical facility of a service provider in order to receive the service or ask their question. So this is basically the hybrid service delivery definition that we were completing our survey and asking questions and the focus group based on. Thank you. As you can see, among the major benefits are the overall improvement of settlement service delivery, a technology-mediated relationship between staff and clients. However, as you all mentioned, it is something that depends on a lot of factors, including the digital capability of the clients, including the type of services that's being provided, including the geographical location where these services are being provided, or whether people have access to internet, Wi-Fi, and all that. Digital integration of clients, similar factors, completely reliant on the similar set of factors, and the cost reduction via elimination of redundant procedures, the paperwork and the commute from one's home to the office, and also the unlimited fast access to services 24/7 provided for the clients. I mean, this picture is very beautiful, but as you all mentioned, there are challenges in the way of each and every one of these benefits. For example, the barriers that are available to the barriers to the availability, accessibility, and continuity of service, hybrid service delivery, and the fact that services are available doesn't mean that necessarily they're accessible by the clients, depending on the type of client that is trying to access those services, right? And the digital divide among clients that Mark already elaborated on that. Not all clients have access to a Wi-Fi or internet or even like the very basic technological tools. And providing services, hybrid services to digitally incapable, let's say less capable clients is another barrier that all organizations and departments in the settlement services basically have to deal with. The fear of identity theft and lack of trust, I think Hassan already touched on that. The lack of trust and the fear of identity theft is something that is very real. I mean, it exists among your clients. It's been in the literature. This is something that needs to be dealt with even when the hybrid service delivery is completely provided for the clients. And then there is a lack of willingness among specific categories of clients, such as the elderly, who probably, well, as literature suggests, they may not be as willing to receive services in online as they are to complete them in person. Again, because of lack of trust, because of the whole identity theft, they're not comfortable sharing private personal information. So that's another challenge and barrier to providing services in a hybrid model, in a hybrid mode, basically. Thank you.